lackluster day. We spoke on that just before we went to break.
The markets had quite a big week, and it's mainly been political. Okay, we had the MPC, which we spoke about earlier on, but it's mainly been political. When this Italian thing started, markets took a bit of a pounding there, and now it all seems okay again. So I think we started the week at about 32,800, and we're finishing the week at 32,200 or 32,300. So all in all, market hasn't done much, but I must say I'm tired of these sorts of weeks now. We need a break from this.
Okay, what is it going to take to turn things around significantly? Valuation-wise, we're looking good.
No, valuation's fine. There's no problem with valuation.
And earnings-wise, we see some big numbers.
And earnings are very, very strong. I mean, with the gold mines reporting, remember, they're swinging from big losses a year ago. So the effect that they have is actually quite big on earnings. So our price-earnings ratio is sitting at about 13 times now, which is not expensive. It's not cheap, but Absolutely. It's certainly not expensive.
Why Richmond down around 0.6%?
I couldn't understand that.
42 Rand 50.
I just don't get that. I mean, the results were way above expectations. Now, that doesn't mean it should go up major, but for that to go down, especially coupled with a bit of resolution in Europe, a bit of good news out of Europe.
Strong sales out of the US and Europe.
Yeah. I don't understand it. There's some big position in the market that someone's closing out, a big seller, or the futures position that someone's trading. It's unusual for the European markets to be up 3% and the Dow up 2% and we flat. It's actually quite unusual.
Would Richmond be a buy for you right now at these levels?
No, it's certainly a hold. It does look a little bit expensive, but whenever you say that, the earnings seem to justify it, seem to justify the share price. You can't be underweight this one. You can't. It's just, it has been through all this turmoil. It's actually been a good performer.
If you own it, you hold. If you don't own it,
if you don't own it, you're just in deep trouble, quite frankly, because you're going to have to buy at some stage.
Okay, and we've got Netcare out of the trading update, 26% higher on the headline earnings per share.
Yeah, that's a very good result. We'll have to see it. We'll have to see how much is currency. We'll have to see how the overseas operations are doing. But when you look at that sort of earnings announcement compared to the current share price, it easily justifies the current share price. I don't know what Netcare did today. Unfortunately, I just didn't look at that. But the current share price is in fact probably a little bit understated in relation to that earnings update.
As you can see, Netcare up almost 3% today, weighing 13 Rand 79.
So, yes.
Would you be accumulating stock like this?
Yes.
Okay. So in your pocket, I know you were in Swaziland this morning.
Yeah.
In your pocket, you've got some money.
Yeah, I picked up a little 10 Malengenis like this. It's actually a very neat little note. Remember, it's a common monetary area. I mean, you can show everyone there.
Yes.
It's a common monetary area. So that is 10 Rand. Because the Swaziland can't print its own money. It's only the Reserve Bank can actually allow liquidity into the system. But what's interesting is on the back there, and on the top there it says, God is our source. And they're going to have to change it because it's actually the SA Reserve Bank is the source of that currency. So we'll have to see what happens.
What were you doing in Swaziland today?
No, just seeing a client. Seeing a client.
Okay, so Wayne, into next week, what are you expecting? More drama, more resolution?
I honestly do, and I don't like taking 1 week predictions, but I honestly think next week's going to be way better. Doesn't necessarily mean the markets go up, but it's going to be less volatile. There's going to be less turmoil out of Europe, because hopefully now, as I said, I think we're over the worst.
Lonmin at the top of the top 40, up 1.7. Implats up 1.6.
Yeah, the platinum shares did very well. All of them did well.
Up 1.25.
Platinum shares did very, very well. And in a good news environment, or a relatively good news environment, you would expect that to actually happen. But these platinum shares have taken a pounding over the last year. I mean, they've been one of the worst performers on the stock market over the last year. They probably are getting cheap enough now.
Would you be buying gold shares? I know at the beginning of the year, actually, at one point you were talking about gold mining companies returning to profit, and you were quite surprised.
Which they did. And we actually did buy some gold shares.
Yes.
But at above 3,000, I'm not so sure. There's a lot of good news in the price already. I mean, above 3,000 on the gold index. Yeah. There's a lot of good news in the price already. But, gold is such a funny thing. In theory, we've had resolution in Greece. In theory, there's some form of resolution in Italy. In theory, the markets are happier. Yet gold's going up. That's a bit of a contrary move there.